All right. So, Cassandra, nice to meet you. My name is Mia, and I work at the Art Center. Super happy to have you looking at art with me over Zoom, pieces from the Des Moines Art Center's collection. So, if you could introduce yourself a little bit, your name, and what is your job that you're doing right now that you're still having to go in working with the public?
Yeah, thank you, Mia. My name is Cassandra Rising, and I work at a human services job, and I work at a group home with individuals with disabilities. So obviously, those individuals aren't going anywhere. So we have to keep it fully staffed, and so I'm a supervisor there, responsible for the staffing. The role has changed quite a bit with everything coming through, mostly just to keep the safety of our residents as a number one priority. So we're doing a lot of staff screening coming in, making sure we have protective equipment, masks. We're wearing face shields, and they're great. They are amazing to wear, but they make you break out so bad. I've been like doing face hygiene like nobody's business. But a lot of changes, but luckily we've had a ton of troopers, our staff are being 100% awesome and just coming along for the long road. So we're very thankful to have them showing up every day.
That's awesome. It's really great when there's just such big asks being made of everybody, and people are like, okay, yes, because this could be a lot harder, I guess.
Yeah. Yes, honestly, I mean, without our amazing staff just going above and beyond, it's a difficult situation already, but they make it a little bit easier. So we appreciate them, and we thank all of you essential workers out there coming every day.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you so much for giving your time to me. Because I think this is fun, and I think it's great to put faces with the people who are doing the work. So thanks for volunteering.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to get in and look at a couple pieces. You had sent an artist to me that you really like, and I got some vibes of colorful nature themes. So I went through the Art Center collection. All of our pieces are actually available on our website. So you can go to our website and see like 3,000 pieces of art. And it's fun. So looking for colorful paintings was a challenge. I'm just like scrolling, and I'm just like, okay. So I got a couple pieces and mostly ones that I'm not familiar with. So we'll just see what we think. Are you ready?
I think so. Okay.
Okay, I know. I just said like 8,000 things. Okay. What the first thoughts looking at this?
I'm getting a real Moana vibe.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yes. Hands reaching out to help, the big waves coming in.
Yeah. I mean, it does feel a little animated in a way too.
Yes, it does. And it's almost like a big hug to the water. Like you got the two arms coming in. I like it. Yellow's my favorite color. So those little.
Just at first you said yellow is your favorite color, and I was like, Cassandra, I see no yellow. And then when you say little.
I'll find it. If there's yellow anywhere, I'll find it. So it's there. I see it.
Yeah. Well, and it's great because I feel like it's in such a focal point of the piece. Yes. And I love that you notice these hands coming, like it feels like it's a hug.
Yes.
What else?
It feels very caring. Like it's very chaotic, but at the same time, it's like comforting.
I agree. It's funny because I saw this piece, and at first I was like, my first feelings of this were really fond. Like I was just like, oh, these are like, it's pretty. These colors are kind of yummy. Yes. But then you say it's chaotic, and I was like, is this like, a storm? Is this like a dangerous situation? And it doesn't feel like that, even with all these like crashing waves.
I get those exact same vibes. And maybe part of it's just like the color scheme feels very warm.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird though, because blue's typically a cold color, isn't it? I'm acting like I know art. I don't.
No, you do. You probably know so much more art than you think you do. Because we look at things, you know what I mean? We know how to look at things, but you're right though, because it's like, so these are really warm shades of blue, like these turquoises, and then the little bits of pink in there are really warm.
Yes. Is that an eyeball? Do you see an eyeball in the top left? Like it doesn't look like characterized like the rest of the painting. It looks like a true
like a photo.
I don't know. I could be crazy, but it's there. Top left, man, very top left.
Okay. I can't see in what I can see in the top left is like a city.
It's
Like,
above the city, like looking
okay.
over the city.
Oh, so it's like small.
It's very small.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
And it's like in the very corner.
Yes. And it looks like they've got really good lashes.
Like
Lashes for days.
despite the water, like their lashes are looking very good.
Exactly. I've
Um,
never used Moxie Lash and I'm not like supporting them, but I mean, I feel like they're really big these days. So
uh, I love that. It's one thing that I like as I'm looking at it, I love like just the different kinds of line. So like with the waves in the bottom, like how it's almost like a pencil thin line or
yeah.
like scratched out.
Yeah.
And then you see the lines that were made obviously like with paint on top.
Does it with the waves on the bottom, it takes me back to those days. Did you ever have it'd be like black? I swear it was like black in a plastic bag and you would like draw the lines on it with your hands. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, yeah, like a scratch board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, the colors in the background and then you scratched it off. That's what it reminds me of.
Oh yeah. It's fun because there's a lot of different ways to do that. I don't know if you ever did like with crayon where you put black crayon on real thick.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We did do that. Got creative with it. That was like the cheap version. Do it up.
Exactly. I was like, well, I can't buy you a scratch board. We have crayons. Please make your
Let's see if
own.
we could find the black one though. I mean,
Right.
search in the bottom of the bin.
Are there any like moods that come out of this for you? I mean, I feel like it's positive and happy, but anything else?
It does feel positive. It feels okay. This is also weird because it feels like very calming to me, even though it's like this storm going on. But for some reason, I feel safe.
I can feel that. I think that might be because it seems so consistent.
I could,
Like there's not like just one big thing here. There's just like so much like spread out.
yes, and like even the hands, like it feels childish, and childish makes me think of I don't know, just innocent.
Yeah.
But
Right. The intention, like to think about like why is someone making this? And when you think about like kids making art, their intention isn't like I'm gonna make money or I'm gonna do something really like conceptual and hard. It's like I just want to make something.
yes, completely agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does have this like honesty to it, which is a weird thing to say.
Yes, very sincere.
Yeah. That's nice that we're like just like we're both feeling supported by this painting that we're looking at.
Yes.
I love that.
I could have it on my wall next to my bed. I'd be okay with that.
Me too. It's nice. And it's, it's fun to see these like weird, like super simplified, like jelly roll waves.
Yes.
Like it really is like a 5th grade wave.
I love watching it because sometimes it makes me feel like I could draw too. Like,
Well, I love that feeling because so many people, when they look at art that might be simple, they like dismiss it like, well, I could do that. And it's like, yeah, that should feel good.
yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, I could do that. And they're like, I love that feeling.
Oh, but if I actually tried, woo,
It's harder than you think.
Yeah, I blend in with the kids' work very, very easily, but it makes me feel young again, so it's okay.
Yeah, and it feels good to create.
It does. Just let all of your insides out.
Yep, and this really looks like that. Like it looks like letting your insides out.
Yes.
A lot of movement. I know, and you really could look at it for a while.
I know. I feel like every time I look at it, like I just saw like a heart in the upper right-hand corner. Who knows if that's what that is? But just like all those little things you can see from it the longer you look at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a good one. I've never seen it before. The artist name is Louisa Chase, and I just like, there's no way you'll know, but is there like you would want to guess when this was made?
Oh gosh, do you have art like from whenever in the museum?
So all of the art, for the most part, since we're a modern museum, it's just from the last 100 years. So nothing from 18 something, all within 1900s and 2000s.
Oh gosh, well that's at least a good starting point for me.
Just guess. There's no way you'll know.
1956.
Great guess. This was made in 1983.
Oh, so close, sort of.
I think one reason why I just thought of that is just because when I think of like things from the 80s, I think of them really showing their era.
Yes, that's
Like,
true.
things from the 80s are usually pretty 80s. And it's nice to see this piece that, like you said, 56 or 53, like it could be. It doesn't look dated, or I don't really see the time that it was made.
Yes.
Like if someone made that this year, no one would say like, wow, that painting you made is really 80s.
Yeah, I know. It really seems like it could be from any era, and just like also just with it going back to like the waves in the ocean, like I feel like that could be super old or yesterday. So
Right. Yeah, it's a connection forever.
yes.
Beautiful. Awesome. Are
Love
you ready
it. Good first painting.
Thank you.
5 stars.
Thank you.
5-star painting.
Thanks for giving me some guidance. Okay, so another piece, and this piece is something I really love, so we'll see.
Oh gosh. Is that it looks okay, so first impression again, right?
Yes.
Okay, I have 2 first impressions. I'll say the appropriate one. Grave. I'm getting like a grave vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Second one is a part of anatomy that I don't think we should discuss on here.
I love that because you don't have to, for me to recognize like how powerful it is that you just pretty much said life and death. If you think about that.
That is, yes.
You said that without saying that.
Oh, I always need an interpreter. You can ask anybody who knows me.
I think that that's the power in sharing art with somebody else, you know? I see people like walk around the museum and they just like look at something and then just like keep walking. And it's like, but when you have someone else to look at it with, we interpret each other. So you're saying powerful things. What makes you say that it looks like a grave?
I mean, it looks like a piece of dirt, like a piece of ground that has been dug up, and it just looks like a very mummy-esque figure, like it's like the shape of a body, like the feet at the top, the head at the bottom.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't look like a stereotypical grave site. Like I don't think it looks like that. Yeah, and just the ground. I mean,
yeah, to think about like, you know, it's in the shape of a body and there's earth. So when you think about bodies and earth, it's kind of like that's where they go.
yes.
What's interesting though, so if it was a grave though, like, because it kind of looks like it's been dug out as opposed to built up.
Yes.
So it's like you took the person from the earth as opposed to putting a person in the earth.
Yes. And are you a Star Wars fan?
I know Star Wars. I used to be a fan. I would probably get a reference.
No, you're fine. Because I'm not a huge, like, I was
Okay.
I was sort of a pressured to be watch all the Star Wars movies fan.
Same.
But when the Jedi, I'm going to try to speak the lingo. When the Jedi Masters die, like they die, but then their body like disappears. Like it sort of reminds me of that. Like it was there and now it's gone. I mean,
Yeah.
What I got.
It's funny because I was like, my brain's like, I don't remember that happening. Is that in the new movies? That's what my brain said.
I know Princess Leia did it.
So yeah, it's nice though that like it can tie into this idea of like the death of you're there and then you're gone.
Yeah. And I kind of like it because like when people die too, I don't like to think of them like stuck in the ground. I'm a very like spirit, soul type of person, and like that can have a cool symbolism for that meaning, I guess.
I think so too. I think that's nice because I think that that's a cultural thing too, where like in America we just don't want to talk about death, but in so many other cultures like they recognize that your loved one's spirit still exists. Like when you see like, you know, people leaving sodas on graves and like talking about their loved ones who have passed on, it's because you're recognizing like they're still kind of here.
Yes.
And I think that's important, but if we don't ever like, if we never feel comfortable talking about death, we'll never like say those things.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking with my mom about this a while back, no time super recently, but my grandma passed away. She lost her mom. And one time I was at home, and we're a family where we don't really talk about it, not because it's bad, but we just don't. And I feel like it was her birthday or Mother's Day or something like that. And I'm like, well, Mom, I'm like, do you want to go like visit Grandma? And she looked at me in the strangest way. And she's like, where? I'm like, well, like at the cemetery. And she's like, no, I don't do that. Like, I'm not, like, she's not there.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, like there's definitely, you know, two different, if not more than two different types of people in the world and how they, you know,
process and understand that and live
yeah,
with it. I mean, because we are the ones living with it.
yes.
Mm-hmm. I love this. I love that just us looking at this picture is making us talk about things that strangers don't talk to each other about.
That's very true.
Because we're totally strangers, and like
I've
it's
never
just
met
like,
her, guys, I promise. I've heard a couple stories about her, but I've never met her.
but it's just that, you know, what this work like makes us think of and what it evokes. Because even though it's simple, it has a seriousness to it.
It does.
Can you recognize like what medium is? Do you think it's a photograph or a painting?
It looks like a photograph to me.
Okay, it is a photograph.
Okay.
Yep. And so this artist, she did like performance art. And so she would do different like rituals and acts and then photograph the documentation. So if you can tell, like the inside is kind of charred and she had filled it with fire. So there's photos of that.
It felt like an orangeness, like at the base.
Mm-hmm.
Like in what's been dug up and out. So that like part of the charredness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And her name's Anna Mendieta. And I love her. And one, you know, just to tell a little bit about her, one of her things is that she was born in Cuba and then rescued by the United States from Cuba because of the political situation. And they took kids from Cuba and just moved them to the United States to like save them. And it was called the Peter Pan Project, but they took the kids away from their parents.
So sad and happy at the same time.
I know, it's so sad. And it was really like, it was a big struggle for her and just really messed with her idea of identity. And so forever she just wondered like where she belonged. And so she would put these like silhouettes of herself in the earth and like interact with her own body and the earth to think about like, where do we belong and where do we choose to belong or where do people put us?
That's amazing. It's I like the empowerment she gives to herself too. You know, where do you choose to be and where do you choose to belong?
Absolutely. Because that's, I mean, in the end, like once we're no longer children and we have like the choice, or it's, you know, maybe it's a privilege too, but when we have the ability to be somewhere, do we choose to be that place?
That's
my cat is here.
Okay, my dog's on my feet right now.
Good thing they can't see each other. Okay, so do you enjoy this piece of art?
I did. I you know, it's just funny because if I were just like flipping through a magazine, I'd probably just be like, wow, a picture of the ground, you know,
right.
But it has so much meaning. And if you just take a minute to look at it too, you can find your own meaning in it.
Exactly. So I think that's the important thing is like, I like sharing the story of the artist because I happen to know it, but I think it's important for people to know that you don't have to know anything about the piece you're looking at or the artist you're looking at, like to find out your own meaning, like you said. Okay, one more piece.
Whoop whoop. I don't even know what I think.
I know, it's so funny because I ended up finding a piece that was like really happy and colorful, and then I found this one too. And I was like, I want to talk about this one.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
Okay, for the first thing that got me is you've got the blue with the suit in it, that shape, almost crown-like, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so hard to know if it's coming out at you or if you're like looking into it.
Oh my gosh. I didn't do that.
You didn't? Do you see it now?
Yeah, it's like an optical illusion for sure.
Yes, it's totally messing with me. And I mean, it could be something really cool yet. I just don't even know because that's the only thing I've been able to see.
It's funny because I think about like, if you're an artist and you're like, how do I like accentuate something or highlight it? It's like, well, you could put it right in the middle and give it a gold halo and everyone will notice it.
Right? And it's so funny because all these things seem so like out of this world or like extraterrestrial, and then there's just like this business suit. And it like doesn't feel fitting, but at the same time, like I mean, I'm not sure what it means quite yet, but I'm sure it means something.
Yeah, it's funny because I can't get over like the pun of the suit doesn't feel fitting. It's literally too good. Um, but yeah, it's funny because we can look at other pieces of art and we weren't like hung up on what do they mean. Like we just got meaning out of them.
Yes.
Like the last one, you didn't like say like what does it mean? Like we just said, oh, these are what, and this one very much looks mysterious, like some weird puzzle that we're supposed to like put these pieces together and solve or understand.
Yeah, it's like those rooms where you have to, what do they call them? Where you have to like find the clues and get out.
Escape chamber.
Yes, it feels like an escape chamber. Like, how do I get out of this painting?
It's funny because it made me want to like lie to you and say that that's the title of the piece. But it's not. But it's funny because it might as well be. The title of this piece is called Messages.
Oh, well, I'm getting a lot of them. So the plural was necessary.
Yeah.
And there's I love the guitar. I don't know why that's sticking out, but
Where's their guitar? Oh yeah, just the tiny neck of the guitar.
Yes.
It's funny because I could see that, but I just kept thinking of it as like a brace holding up the back of that stone.
Holding up the wall.
Like a picture frame like leg.
Oh, yes.
But it's definitely guitar neck.
It is a guitar.
It's amazing how many like small man-made things are in this. Like it looks like a natural setting, but then you've got like that tower in the background that looks like a Space Needle.
Yes, and it seems very futuristic.
Mm-hmm. But then it's got these like weird like folk like almost like southwestern old folk style pottery.
Yes, with one flower. Good choice. Just one.
Okay, we're not gonna get crazy with the flowers.
Don't blow all my budget. I've only got so much purple. Where can I use it?
And then is it, I mean, on the left, on the side, is that a smoking mountain or is that a tree?
I yeah. I mean, in my mind, I saw it more as a mountain with like the road around it and like a campfire at the top,
Oh,
I think is what I saw.
Yeah.
But then just the way it's like going into the clouds too, just with that, it looks like it's part of like the spherical atmosphere thing that's happening up there.
Well, yeah, like it's like contributing to it. Like if we could see like off the frame where it's going.
Yes.
It moves with it.
And wherever this path is going has got me intrigued. Because that haloed suit came from wherever is back there.
I know, that's what I thought. Where it's like, well, it's where the suit came from. And it's like, can this suit move? Is it on a journey? Is it floating down this path?
Right? Or is there like an invisible man? Who knows?
We don't.
Maybe he's wearing camo everywhere else and you just can't see him.
Could be a green screen.
Exactly.
Well, the color behind the suit and like the foliage, like the bushes and the sand, it looks like it's underwater almost to me.
It does. Yeah. It does seem more, I can't think of the word for water, like aquatic or sea-like. I don't know.
Yeah.
Vocabulary is not with me.
But is it like also day versus night?
Oh, it could be. And I can't get over those palm tree looking things. Like,
it's impressive that this is an acrylic painting too, just to think of like how smooth some of this color is.
I mean, is there a meaning for this painting? Like, did the author want to tell us anything, or do they just want us to be confused?
It's possible.
It's possible.
I don't know. So I know nothing about this. I'd never seen this work before. I was scrolling through pictures from the art center, and the artist's name is Doug Shelton, and I learned he's from Iowa.
Really?
So we could reach out if he's still living and ask him.
That's awesome. That'd be kind of cool, but I'm not sure if I want him to know what I said. I didn't say anything bad, right? I don't think any of it was bad.
Here's the deal, though. If I was an artist, I would just be happy somebody was looking and talking about my art. So
that's true. I mean, the whole thing is to get some sort of emotion from it, right?
Mm-hmm. Or just give it some attention.
Yeah.
Because this piece has been existing in the art center. I haven't seen it on display. And so we're looking at it.
That is really cool.
Mm-hmm. Can you guess when this one was made?
I'm just gonna throw out a number. I'm gonna
Just do
hope.
it. It's a game.
I'm gonna say 1992.
Great guess. That was much closer because this one was made in 1988.
Oh,
But I would say that you're pretty much right. In the grand scheme of time, they're just a few years apart. And I think I'm bringing that up because I feel like this piece does look dated.
yeah.
So you said 92, just guessing like of what this looks like.
I was born in 91 and I'm weird. So I just thought maybe we would have a cool connection there, but I was a couple years off.
I love that you connected that because this was born the same year I was, and I felt a connection to it. So let's just be a millennial thing, where we just like feel like this is one of us.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is something that I'm thinking too. I mean, it feels so much like about like it feels big, like it's trying to talk about big things.
It does. It's almost like in you're this like little world. Like I'm picturing myself as the suit, I guess. And it's like, and you're this one place, and then you like walk through, and it's like you go through a wormhole, and there's this whole other place you've never been to, and it's all different.
Yeah, and everything is like symbolic and strange.
Yes.
Because there's like the Taj Mahal looking structure in the background that looks like similar to the mountain that's in the background, but one is man-made and one is nature. And then I think about the woman in the sky, and I think like, is this like a symbol for God? And then the other thing, the universe.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
don't know. It's definitely a woman.
yeah.
It's not the universe. It's a woman.
Uh-huh. So I think about like creation, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting that I don't know if the artist chose to mat it with this frame around it that matches the path of the stone.
And that just reminds me of a giraffe. I'm just getting a giraffe vibe from that.
So it's like, you know, Serengeti. I don't know where we are.
Oh, but it is very similar to the path. I didn't even like relate it to the path until you said that, but it also looks like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And I also liked how this one color-wise really matches the first one we looked at.
It does, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The blues and
the pinks. And I liked, my brain connected how the last piece we looked at was like an indentation of where a person had been. Mm-hmm. And then this one is like an absent person too.
It's weird how related they are, but they're so different.
Right. And it's amazing how many different ways there are to choose to express yourself with art.
Yeah.
A lot to explore.
Yeah. Definitely a lot to explore, but I love it. And I love that people do this. Like, I would never just pick up something and be like, some stranger's going to have this hanging on their wall, you know? That's really cool.
It takes a lot of confidence, I think, to create.
Yes, and a lot of vulnerability.
Yeah, because like some people could just say like, I hate it, and then that's it. And it's so much more fun to be like, what am I looking at? And then really like spend time with it and grow some kind of fondness.
Yes, I have a fault because I always want to be right a lot. So I'm looking at it be like, oh, I want to find the real meaning of what the artist meant when they drew this. But, you know, and so many times it's just getting your own meaning from it. And there may not be some intended message for it.
No, we might know more than the artist sometimes. I mean, you know, sometimes they just like something comes to them and they want to express it. And then we give it meaning. It's a back and forth.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Thank you so much. This was really fun.
I had a blast. It wasn't scary at all. So thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Super fun. Great to meet you. So hopefully you found some fun new pieces at the Art Center. And
I did. I'll have to visit.
I would love that. When we reopen, I hope you come. I hope you bring a friend and look at some pieces of art together because you're really good at it.
Oh.
You are. You're a good investigator.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mia. I love being here.
Oh, thank you. Have a great night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.